Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Kageyama, and I'd like to welcome everyone here to Be Your Own Hero. I am doing absolutely phenomenal, and I hope that you are too. And despite all the things that are going on in the world, uh, you know what it's all about? It's all about people, and it's all about people connecting. I'm so excited to be able to share with you somebody that I've connected with recently, and she is absolutely amazing. Right now, I don't have any new health updates, but as soon as I get some, I will be sure to let you know. But at this time, what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Oneica Poole, and I'll let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about what she does. Dr. Oneica, please introduce yourself and share with us some information about you.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. So I'm Dr. Oneica Poole, and I feel so honored to be here. I'm really grateful to Mark for having me and just inviting me to be a part of this experience. I'm a pediatrician, and I work as an independent contractor. So I travel all over the United States to practice general pediatrics. Um, I work mostly with underserved communities, including rural communities and also with refugee communities. And that's kind of been my passion, and that's a little bit about me. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Onika. And I'm really, really looking forward to this because let me tell you something about Dr. Onika. She's got just a beautiful, beautiful heart and an incredible attitude. I've never met a doctor with an attitude like hers, and I hope that you see this side of her in this interview. What exactly inspired you to become a doctor, and why did you choose to become a pediatrician as opposed to a different type of doctor?
Thank you for that question. So, in terms of what inspired me to become a doctor, I think the main thing is just the passion and the drive to help people, to just to be of service, and I think specifically one of the big things was just, knowing that I could be a part of something that alleviates suffering and pain and illness, just to be a part of something where I can help to heal someone, help to restore them to perfect health. Um, that for me was pretty profound and pretty powerful, and very humbling. And those were some of the big, reasons for wanting to do pediatrics. But I understand that there are other careers that I could have pursued that would also allow me to make an impact and to help. When I started college, for instance, my plan was not necessarily to go into medicine. I thought maybe I would be an English teacher. And so I majored in English as an undergrad. And it was not until a few years into my undergraduate career that I started volunteering at a pediatric oncology center at the university hospital that was affiliated with the university that I attended. And from my very first day, as a volunteer working with the kids. I remember the first thing we did, we were making kaleidoscopes. And I don't know, something about just that experience resonated so deeply with me that it was the first time, it was sort of, for me, like my light bulb moment, I guess, where for the first time I realized that I wanted to pursue medicine and specifically pediatrics. There were a lot of subsequent experiences that kind of reinforced that for me, that, medicine and pediatrics was the right choice. But I think that was the first time that it kind of dawned on me that that is what I wanted to do and that I kind of was finding the place that I needed to be. And, um, and to be honest with you, from the moment I decided on medicine, it's always been pediatrics and I've never really looked back. I've enjoyed other rotations in medical school, but pediatrics has always been my first love. And to this day, it's a thing that I love so very much, and so honored and privileged to be able to do. So that's kind of a little bit about my journey to medicine and specifically to pediatrics. So I
Where,
hope
where
that
did
answers your question.
where did you go to school?
I did my undergrad at Stony Brook University in New York. So um, that's where I kind of had my first big draw to medicine and to pediatrics. That's kind of where all happened for me.
Great, great. From your perspective as a doctor, why is it important for you to treat patients with compassion and love?
My goodness. Um, because I think the most important reason is because it's what I'd want for myself. Um, it's what I'd want for my loved ones and for my family. And because my patients, they deserve no less than for me to come every time to every patient, to every case with my heart and with genuine concern and care for what they may be feeling and going through. I think we all deserve that. And and so and one of the other things for me, to be honest with you, I think over the past few years, as I become more and more aware too of our interconnectedness, with everyone and everything, um, I think even more so, it kind of reinforces for me the importance of always coming from a place of compassion. And the other thing, based on my experience as a physician, I've only found that it helps. Even if I have uh, the knowledge and I'm very confident in terms of what it takes to heal them physically. I think that that's critical and it's absolutely important. Um, but it has a whole other layer, I think, when you're coming from a place of compassion. And I think it is just as important and it's just as necessary, I feel, when it comes to medicine. Um, it's just as important as just having the right resources and the right just the knowledge, and the insight that it takes to get them well. Um, that's how much I value compassion. Not just in medicine, I think it's important for, just so much in the world and in different areas and field, but I think it's particularly important in medicine because, most of the times when I have my patients, they're coming to me when they're sick and when they're scared and they're vulnerable. And compassion only just adds to that, feeling and just helping them to feel well and to get well. And it goes beyond just what the physical healing, that I might be able to provide through medicine would accomplish. And so I just think it's integral to it. And I just can't think of a better place or another place to come from when it comes to caring for my patients and interacting with them and their families, then from a place of compassion. It only helps. It can never hurt. It only helps. And so I feel very strongly about that. And um, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
That is just beautiful. And I know people that are watching this video are thinking, man, I wish I had a doctor like that. I wish my doctor was like that. In fact, I do personally wish my doctors would be like you. So
Oh,
in listening,
but I'm just so honored to hear you say that. And to be honest with you, like I said, I am just like those people. I wish for the same, that when I go to my doctor, that's what I wish for. That's what I want. And so that's what I give. Because I think that's what we all deserve. And I'm not just saying that, but I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I've seen it make a difference when I care for my patients. Um, when I worked on the recent refugee project, there were times when I didn't always have the resources accessible to help them. I didn't always have the answers. Some of them were coming with very complex conditions that we were not really used to seeing here in the United States. And so I did not always have the answers right there and then, in terms of like the medicine. But what I could have always offered is my best with what I do have and also with compassion. And I found that it has helped so much. It has brought so much comfort to families who were scared. And so um, I am not going to go on and on about that question, but I do feel very strongly about compassion. And I think it's an absolutely necessary aspect that we should all have, and especially in the medical field.
Uh, At what point did you develop your compassion for your patients? I mean, did this
Mhm.
happen immediately after you got out of med school and when you started practicing, or was it a developed thing for you?
So it is something that I feel over time can definitely get stronger. And a part of that is just empathy, because coming from a family and from a country and a situation where there was just so much lack and sometimes illness, and sort of desiring that, in others, and was hoping for that as you grow up, or having family members who were sick. And so I think I already came to, it's probably one of the things that drew me to medicine as well, because it's always been a part. And I think honestly, I think deep down inside, it's a part of all of us. If we're, willing to kind of pay attention to it and just ready to cultivate it. But so I think it's always been a part of me. And it's one of the things that, during my interviews for medical school, so even before I got in or while I was there and I would do my evaluations, would always comment about my level of compassion when I interact with, whether it's a standardized patient or a real patient. And yeah, because I think a part of it, it's kind of been there for a long time, for as long as I can remember. But I think the more I also am at the bedside, and I witness the pain and suffering that families and patients sometimes go through, um, it for me, it kind of makes it even more important for me to pay special attention to that and to cultivate it as much as possible, because I know that it can really go a long way in helping in that process of recovery and healing. And um, so it just kind of, I guess, gotten stronger over the years, but I think it's always been there and it's always been important to me. Partly probably because of my background and my experiences, where I was coming from. So yeah.
That is just so beautiful. I know that the medical system is so crowded these days, and as a doctor, you only have X number of amount of time to deal with each patient. So how do you balance the time with the compassionate part and just trying to be a good human being to your patients?
Yeah. So what I've learned through my lived experiences is that when it comes, you don't necessarily have to have so much time to be compassionate, right? So even, and sometimes if you approach the care of your patients from a genuine place of concern, even if all you have is 10 or 15 minutes to allot to them, they can tell. They can tell. It comes from your heart and they can sense that. And so, and you can be honest with them, and maybe say you have a full schedule and maybe you don't have the time to dedicate this visit or right there in this moment to explore something further. But you just address them as if you were in their shoes, as if you were scared, as if you had the questions and you don't want to feel dismissed, and you talk to them as human beings. And I think that's all it takes. Once you do that and you honestly feel that in your heart, it comes across. I understand that there are times that, they may want more time and you may not always have that to give, but you can explain that. You can try to maybe set up a follow-up appointment if that's what's necessary, or whatever it takes. And sometimes if that means running a little bit later for the next appointment because somebody's having a moment in crisis or they're breaking down, so be it. Just kind of imagine you are in their shoes and just do the best you can. It is all we can do. Um, and so I don't think it necessarily, it would be great. I think it would be so great to have more time with our patients. That would be so awesome. But the reality is sometimes that we do have full schedules. We're being pulled in multiple directions. You know, for me, I do full scope pediatrics, so I'm covering the clinic while I'm on call at the hospital, and I'm going to emergency deliveries, and I have patients in the ER that have to be admitted. And so that's the reality sometimes, that you do have a busy schedule, and sometimes you can't, you know, stay in one with one person as long as you'd like, but you can communicate that. You can just optimize the time that you do have, always come from a place of compassion. And I think it comes across, and they understand my experiences, and my patients and my families, they've felt it because they let me know. They know. And just do the best you can and connect, you know, heart to heart. And I think that's all you can do, and people know that, and it makes a difference. So that's what I have to say to that. But we don't always have as much time as we like. That's the truth.
No, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I experience, that myself.
Hmm.
You know, we, being a cancer patient, I deal with so many doctors, um, you know, oncologists, urologists, generals. I mean, I've been through the whole gamut, and everybody is so pressured and so rushed, and it's all about the next one, and for you to have that sense of compassion for each person, it's just so beautiful. It really is. It's the way it should be, but unfortunately, because of the way the system is, it's not always recognized that way. And so I commend you and I applaud you for your outlook and the way you treat your patients. That is just absolutely
Thank,
fantastic.
thank you.
There's something that I want to share with everyone, and I know this is Dr. Onika. She has an incredible little story to tell, and I'll kind of intro it. She has written just one of the most beautiful songs I have ever heard, and
Oh,
you know, and and I hope to, get this in this interview. But if not, I will leave the link to her YouTube video uh, in this interview, underneath this interview, and I'll also post it on my Caring Bridge site. She has written a song, and I'll let her tell you the story about the song. And she actually wrote it, and she sang it, and it is absolutely amazing. So if you could share with us the name of the song and the story behind it and what prompted you to do this. It's such a great story.
oh, well, thank you so much. And thank you for letting me share about that song. You know how strongly I feel about it as well. So it's called The Little Things. On YouTube, I posted it as The Little Things by Oneica. And it's a song about gratitude. And to be honest with you, the story behind the song, so it was born out of a moment where one evening back in September of last year, I was on a group call with my family. And so we were doing, I think it was via Zoom, we were on a virtual call. And, you know, my mom, who is currently in Guyana, she was on that call, and my siblings were scattered all over the United States. And I remember, you know, in that moment, just feeling so much gratitude for all of the beauty and the laughter and the love and all of that amazing energy, that it just kind of pervaded the moment. Um, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it per se, but I just remember becoming like acutely aware and almost like stepping out to just observe how beautiful this was, and yet being at the same time immersed in the experience. And it was just so wonderful, and I was just overflowing with gratitude in that moment. And gratitude has been a really big part of my life. For a number of years now, I've been very intentional about cultivating gratitude, because it was one of the things that I turned to and got me through some really tough times in my life. Specifically, I came to gratitude, to be honest with you, as I was grappling with a lot of grief and anxiety after losing one of my sisters to multiple myeloma. And I found a gratitude meditation video that was sort of the thing that resonated so deeply and spoke to my heart and really helped me through those times. And so from then I sort of just made it my intention to cultivate gratitude. So it's not a practice that was new to me, but that night I was just so overwhelmed with this amazing feeling of gratitude for all the beauty that was just imbued in that moment. And so as soon as I got off the call, I grabbed my pen and piece of paper, and I just it was just pouring out of me, so to speak, and I just wrote it down. I did not know at the time whether it was going to be a song or if it was going to be just a journal entry or a poem or a blog post. I didn't know in the moment when I was writing it, but I was just letting what I feel and a lot of the thoughts that sort of reflected my daily gratitude meditation. I was just letting it pour out onto the paper. And and the next day I was in the shower and kind of just started to hum, the melody that that to the words that I'd written, and I said, I want to make this into a song, and so obviously I tweaked it and just to make the melody and the lyrics work, and then just a few days later I did something that was really out of character for me. I decided to share it in a daily gratitude room that I frequented at the time on Clubhouse, and I sang it live, and it was just something that I kind of did impromptu, and got some really positive feedback from a lot of the folks who were in that room. And one young lady in particular, her name is Victoria Ryan. Um, she had messaged me and also encouraged me to say, you should get that produced because you need to share that message. It's a beautiful song and it's a great message, and she encouraged me to do that. And that sort of planted the seed in my heart. And I gave it some thought. And like I said, I don't have any musical background or anything like that. So I like to sing, and that's about it. And I've also written songs, but I would only share, with my family. I've never recorded anything or anything like that before. And um, but that's where that came from. And like I said, I thought about what she suggested, and I thought it was a great message of gratitude. And I feel so strongly about gratitude and know the healing power of gratitude and the ability for it to really be a gateway to joy and an abundance of so much that is good. And um, and I thought I shouldn't keep it to myself. I'll take a chance and get it produced, and I'll share it with my world. And I don't know, it's probably going to resonate with some people, and apparently it already has. And one of those people is Mark. Because he gave me some very positive feedback about how that song resonated with him, and it was just another reason I was so grateful that I took the chance to put it out there. And so yeah, that's a little bit in the story behind that song.
Tell us a little bit more. You were telling me how you recorded it and
Yeah.
yeah, the amazing process of that. So if you could share that with us.
Sure, sure, sure. So initially, after, like I said, the next day, once I was just humming, and the melody kind of came to me. And so what I did is I recorded it on my phone, and with the voice note app on my phone. And then people were from the gratitude room that had heard it. A few of them had requested that I share it with them. So I just used the voice note recording, and I had uploaded a video with a private link to share with the people who were asking for it. And so I did that, and then eventually, yeah, the young lady that suggested that I get it produced, she, initially started that process of getting me connected, and then eventually we got in touch with some of the right folks online, and that kind of helped me to make it what it is today, and to help me with the music and all of that stuff that I have no idea where to begin with that, because like I said, I have no background in sort of no training in music or anything like that. Yeah.
This the song, and I'll share with and I truly truly mean this. The song is absolutely phenomenal. It
Oh,
the lyrics are amazing, and they really resonate, and they really speak to who you are. And I highly highly suggest that everybody listen to this song because it is really really great. I mean, it looks professional, and it's a tribute to you, to who you are. And and so thank you so much for doing that. And life's all about, like, going beyond our comfort zone, and surprising ourselves. And I
mhm.
know that that song helped you to do that for you. You
Yeah.
realized, hey, I could do this.
Probably one of my biggest leaps of faith that I've ever taken, to be honest with you, in terms of, stepping way out of my comfort zone. I think if you talk to, my family and those in my close circle, they probably would have guessed that I'm the last person on earth who would have done something like that, and to put it out there. And now, not just that, but now I have a YouTube channel where I intend to do a whole other set of positive things. And so it's kind of opened up this whole new door to say, hey, you're brave enough to follow your heart and to do the things that you feel you want to do to make a difference in this world. Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It is a beautiful, beautiful song.
Thank you.
So, where does Dr. Onika go from here?
Oh my. Forward, onward, onto more things to continue on this journey of my intention lately has been to spread positivity and light and joy. um, and I'm finding different ways in which I feel like I'm meant to do that. And again, I'm just garnering the courage day after day to embrace that fully and to go out there and to do just that. My intention is to touch as many hearts as I can, to encourage and to empower as many souls as I can, to also stand up and to share their light with the world. I just recently did a blog post about that, and I shared a video on YouTube as well, with just a brief meditation talking about just not being afraid to do that which it is our nature to do, which is to rise and to shine and to go light our world. And so that's a big part of the direction that I'm heading and what I intend to do. Um, in terms of a couple of other specific things that I have on the agenda, I guess. So, in the near future, I'm working on a couple of projects in my home country, in Guyana, in my native country, and one of them is to start a literacy club and a computer center for the kids in my village in Guyana. And that's sort of in the works. I'm an avid reader, very passionate about just knowledge and reading and having access to that. And so it was one of the things that sort of prompted me to get that started. And I also, want to be able to provide a space for the kids in the village to be able to come and to have access to a computer and the internet and printers and just, some basic resources that we take for granted here, but a lot of people there don't necessarily have access to at home. And it would just facilitate, their education and just being able to get their assignments done and things like that. So it's one of the projects that I'm really excited about. And I'm also working on another project it's more of a charity based um, project for the holiday season that's coming up. So I look forward to doing that in December of this year. For the first time, it will be official. So I'm really excited about those two. And like I said, whichever way it's laid on my heart to continue to grow and to help others to grow and to spread positivity and light. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
That
Yeah.
is that is phenomenal. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I love the fact that not only are you do you have a beautiful heart and a beautiful attitude and compassion, you're doing
Thank
something about it. And that's awesome, because that's what this world needs right now is people who are willing to step up and make a difference. And that's exactly what you're doing. So I commend you. You're and the way you're doing it is just beautiful. Absolutely
you.
beautiful. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing all of this and sharing a part of you with us. It's absolutely beautiful. And do you have anything that you want to share with us before we end this interview?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. And same to you. I've already told you probably quite a few times now that how much I admire what it is you're doing. And again, just my doing this interview today, again, was me stretching myself a bit out of my comfort zone. And you also know that. But I felt strongly about sharing here because I believe what you're doing is so much in alignment with what it is that I like to see and what I want to see more of in this world. And it's just lifting people up and sharing our story and spreading our light and just being the difference and the kind of change in this world that we want to see. And you're doing exactly that. And I'm so honored and grateful to be able to support that and to just be a part of it. So thank you for inviting me and for having me. And with that, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Dr. Onika. I mean, it's just been just an honor and a pleasure. I am so humbled
Likewise.
by you and what you do. It's just uh, incredible.
Oh,
And I wish more doctors would, take your attitude and your aspect of compassion and the way you care for your patients. It's just absolutely wonderful. And I thank you so much. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us at To Be Your Own Hero and make the most of every day. This world is just so crazy, and I hope that everybody, says a prayer for the people in Ukraine and the situation that's going on there, and for the rest of the world too, our country, our freedoms, and there's so much that's going on in the world, and if we could all do our share and make the world better, and people like Dr. Onika who does her more than her share, and if we could all come together and pull on that same end of the rope and help make this world a better place, that's what it's all about. And we're in such a crazy time, and so that's makes it so much more important that we do all come together and work together, because together we can do something. Alone, it's pretty difficult. So I'd like to thank everybody. Appreciate your health, and that's what Dr. Onika does. Appreciate your health, appreciate your life and your opportunities, and make the most of every single day, every single hour, every single minute, and every breath. And so I thank everyone here for joining us here at To Be Your Own Hero. Be blessed. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.